Having a style can be an important tool to market yourself as a photographer. A style is when someone looks at one of your images and it just looks and feels like you were the creator. That's when you know you have a style. Style makes you memorable, but how do you develop a style? How do you figure out what your style is? Some photographers develop a style naturally. They develop a favorite way of shooting a subject, favorite emotions they love to capture, favorite color palette. Here's my recommendation to you. Take a look back at a collection of your favorite photographs and analyze them. Maybe select 3 to 5, and what do these favorite photographs have in common? Is there a subject matter in common? How do they make you feel? What colors are commonly used in the images? What unites your favorite photographs? Typically, style is defined by 3 things: subject matter, emotion, and visuals. In other words, often the subject matter is similar, like fashion or fine art or sports. Then there's a word for emotion, a pervasive feeling in your images, or a way that the images make your viewer feel. This could be playful or mysterious. And lastly, some type of descriptive word for the visuals in your images. This could be dark, or it could be graphic. So what are the 3 words that fit your style? Take a moment to look at this more in depth. Analyze your own work. So your challenge? Create an image that represents your style. Now that you've determined that style, make a photograph that uses all of these elements to create a wow image that really represents you as an artist. When I prep a shoot, I put together a collection of images that are inspiration to help guide everyone on my creative team to a particular vision. And this is called a mood board. You might want to check out Adobe Comp CC as a quick and easy way to create layouts on your iPhone or iPad to help you plan your next shoot. My style? Bold and graphic fashion photography. And often, I have a bold use of the color red as a way to excite the eye. Now it's my turn to create an image that's in my style. Let's talk about the light in this shot. I knew that I wanted something really dramatic, so I started off with ProPhoto D1 Air 500 watts, and the main light was a 20-inch white beauty dish. But the beauty dish, the light spread out everywhere. So instead what I did is I added a 25-degree grid, and that focuses the light in so it's tighter. It also adds a little bit of contrast. So that was my main light. But the problem is, for part of the richness of this scene, I added a crimson, a really dark red Savage Paper seamless background, which with the beauty dish, with a grid on it, it basically went solid black. So I wanted some way to separate her out from the background. So I added a second light. The second light on the background is a 10-degree grid. And this is going to give me a halo of light behind her. It lights the background so I can see some of that color and also make sure she doesn't blend in with the background. So everything looked good, dramatic light on her face, separation from the background, a little bit of that color, but I was missing one thing. I love this dress. I love how dramatic that it is. And unfortunately, because I was using a grid for dramatic light, the dress basically fell to black with no detail at all. So I added one more light. And I added the light over here. In this case, what it is, it's a beauty dish with a grid. So the grid focuses the light in so I can point it just at the bottom of the dress. And then also a sock, a diffusion in front of it just to soften the light a little bit so it's not so contrasty. In the end, what I have is dramatic light on her face, separation from the background, but still just a little bit of detail in her dress instead of it being bright illumination. For the images that I've created here, this is definitely something I want to get online and share. I could share it on Behance as a way to have different interactions and tag all of my team members who might also be on that social network. Or I can create my own custom little web page using Slate. It's an interactive design. It's a great way for me to be able to showcase my images. When I'm photographing really rich colors, I want the skin tone to be absolutely perfect. What I want to do is I want to take a picture of a color checker. In this instance, I'm using an X-Rite Passport color checker. What I can then do, because I'm shooting into Lightroom, is I can use the Passport Color Checker plugin. And this is going to help me create a custom color profile. And this profile is based on the lighting that I'm using here, as well as my camera sensor, as well as my lens choice. So what that enables me to do is make sure that every single image has absolutely perfect representation of what the color really should be. As you know, I am a big fan of drama, and I also think movement really adds something to a photograph. It allows you to capture a moment in time instead of a static still frame. So we're going to add a little bit of movement to the shot by adding a fan. Right now I'm shooting with a Canon 5D Mark III and a Canon 24-70 2.8 lens, and I am tethering to my laptop using a Tether Tools tether cable, and I'm tethering right into Lightroom CC. And this is going to do several things for me. First of all, as I'm shooting tethered, the images are showing up in my Lightroom catalog. So I can see them, I can view them, I can create presets. so that as they come into Lightroom, they automatically have those presets applied. But I can do something even more interesting with Lightroom CC. I can actually make a link so that as I'm shooting right here in my camera, tethered in my studio, I can have the images pop up in a private link that I share with a client or a customer somewhere in the world so that during my entire shoot, they can see the images as it's happening. And even better, maybe I don't want the client to see all the pictures I'm taking. I have the ability to select individual photographs, put them in a particular collection, and have the client only see those photographs wherever they are in the world. And that same collection I can have show up in Lightroom Mobile. So it could just be the client sitting in the room. The images are going to show up in front of them so they can rate the photographs. They can flag or pick them. They can zoom in. They can add comments. All of that using Lightroom CC. Let me show you real quick how I set up the link and collection so that people can see the images wherever they are in the world or through Lightroom Mobile. Here we are in Adobe Lightroom CC, which is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud photography plan that allows me to always have the most up-to-date versions of both Lightroom and Photoshop at my fingertips. Let's talk about how to have a shoot so that as I'm shooting, I can have the images automatically upload to a link into a gallery so I can share them with anyone, anywhere in the world. But of course, I get to choose the images that they view. Now, first of all, what I want to do is I want to set up a tether so that as I'm shooting, my camera is connected to my computer. And this is going to import them directly into Lightroom. And to do so, I would go to File, Tether Capture, Start Tether Capture. But really, let's talk about setting up that gallery. What I need to do is I need to create a new collection. I can do this by going to the left-hand side over here, where you see collections, and hitting the plus sign for Create Collection. There are two important things you have to have checked at this step if you want that online gallery to be created. First of all, you need to set this as a target collection. And what this is going to do is as I'm shooting, anytime I see an image I like, I can hit the shortcut B. And this is going to send whatever image I annotated, it's going to send it directly to that collection. So I can make sure that whoever's viewing this online gallery, or whoever's viewing this on Lightroom Mobile, they're not seeing every image that I shoot, but instead just the ones that I've selected. And then next, in order for this to work, I also have to sync with Lightroom Mobile. Now let's name our collection, and I'm going to name it My Style. And hit Create. So now as I'm shooting, as images are coming in, I can scroll through, and anything that I think is worthy or anything that I would want a client or someone to see, I can hit the shortcut B. Now I've already gone through and selected some of the images that I like. And so I can select any of these and hit the shortcut B, and watch how it says Added to Target Collection anywhere that I hit the shortcut of B. So now let's go take a look at this collection. If I click on My Style, as you notice, there are 5 images there. This little icon on the left-hand side means that it is syncing with Adobe Lightroom Mobile. And also it's going to be syncing with my Creative Cloud account. So let's go over to an internet browser, and I've gone to lightroom.adobe.com and signed into my account. And as you see here, any of the collections that I have synced with Lightroom Mobile are going to show up. And on the left-hand side, you'll see the collection that I just created, My Style, and it's already synced. When I double click, I can see all of the images that I have added to that target collection. You'll see the ratings and also any of the images that I've flagged. And if I double click, I can view them larger. I can scroll through the images. I can change the ratings. I can change the flags. I can favorite them. On the right-hand side, if I were collaborating with someone else viewing these files, they can even add comments to give me their feedback. But right now, this gallery is set to private. The only place this gallery is going is to my iPad with my Lightroom Mobile account synced, which is great for someone viewing in the studio to be able to see the images that I've added to this collection. But what happens if I want to share it with someone somewhere else in the world? If I go to the Share button and I select Shared, I can now provide this link to anyone, and they're going to be able to have access to these images as I'm doing my shoot, and then they can interact and give me feedback. So what's great about Adobe Creative Cloud is it gives you fantastic ways to share, whether in your own studio space or anywhere around the world, whether through your iPad or through the internet. Okay, so now you've seen all the cool things I can do on a shoot so that people can see the images all over the world, or I can share with my customers or with my creative team right here in the studio. But now let's make that picture geared towards my style. Great. Perfect.